I had gone to the forest to get firewood when I was kidnapped. These are the words of a 13-year-old Nepali girl earlier this year. She was then forced to marry at her young age and worked in a field until she escaped and fled back to school. And this was not a fluke. This sort of kidnapping occurs all too frequently in far regions of Nepal. These and many more issues surrounding child citizenship, child marriage, and cervical cancer and HPV unawareness amount to the large concern over women's rights in Nepal. Nepal's situation in terms of women's rights violates Articles 15, 16, and 25 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This means women here have little right to nationality, fair and equal say in marriage, and an acceptable standard of living and health. Unfortunately, the poor Dalit communities are being hit the hardest of them all. These are of the class of untouchables because of being in deep poverty and having no way of escaping it. 51 years ago, Nepal did in fact establish a law banning child marriages. However, the effect has gone unnoticed. Just listen to a few more words of the same young Nepali girl. Marriage has eaten up my life. I haven't been able to read or write or finish my education. My whole life will be wasted doing farming work. She goes on to say she believes nobody should be married away at such a young age. Other modern-day responses from Nepal's government haven't proven too effective either. The issue of child citizenship also roots at the Nepali government's policy. It states both a mother and a father must be a Nepali citizen to grant the child Nepali citizenship. A huge problem arises when many women are impregnated but cannot prove their child's nationality when the father refuses or disowns the child. Furthermore, many of these same women lack appropriate medical attention or assistance during their child's delivery and after. 4,000 women are diagnosed with cervical cancer in Nepal per year, and nearly half of those will end up dying of their disease. Help in the way of medicine and education is not reaching the isolated communities of the Himalayas. This cancer and other disease in Nepali women is likely related to frequent pregnancy and intercourse connected to recent high rates of prostitution in Nepal, which was also ineffectively banned by Nepal's government. As for recent measures made by the Nepali government, in particular to prevent hardships on women, little has improved in recent years, as stated above. Bans on prostitution and child marriage have failed to make a difference. In fact, prostitution rates are higher than ever in some regions. A possible reason for why government actions have done almost nothing to improve conditions for women in Nepal is because the source of the problem may lie with the people and is not under the control of the government. Old customs and tradition are most likely at the root of child marriages and other unjust treatments of women. The isolated communities of areas in Nepal simply haven't yet caught up with the standards of human rights of today's world. Hear the words of a Nepali citizen speaking on the topic. The main reasons are poverty, lack of education, and discrimination by other communities. In particular, they still follow their old customs. They have not changed like other communities. If this is, in fact, the case, a solution also lies in the community's hands. Recent modern-day responses from Nepal will have to be taken much further to make an impression on the behaviors and customs of its remote communities. The way to solve an issue like this is by simply acknowledging it. The first step to solving problems is always admitting that there is one. To address Nepal's lack of medicine and medical facilities, medical services must be initiated in Nepal, such as an HPV vaccine schedule. To improve conditions involving child marriage and young women's rights, education is the key. If a community is educated and realizes its own problems, it will solve them itself. Now imagine a world with no unjust treatments of men or women. Imagine a world in which areas like Nepal had access to proper education and medicine to help dig people out of poverty. This perfect world may sound a little cliché, but it only does because it's true. This makes a wonderful goal. But as Martin Luther King Jr. once said, peace is not merely a distant goal that we seek, but a means by which we arrive at that goal. Thank you.